Hi, I'm Scott Patsko with the Northeast Ohio Media Group, Matt Goul, Joe Noga. Usually in these videos we talk about what we learned the week before in football games. I think this week we can agree that we learned that we should forget everything we thought we knew about Northeast Ohio football. 8 upsets in the top 25 last week. I actually had 9 on my ballot. I had Medina ranked. Weird week. So instead of maybe talking about what we learned, we're going to kind of talk about some of the teams that made notable jumps and notable wins this week, and they're sure to probably show up in the poll. I know they're on a lot of ballots that I've seen so far. So first, there's a couple weird situations where we have A beat C, B beat B beat C, C beat A. North Ridgeville, Olmsted Falls, Bree Mid Park is one of those situations. North Ridgeville, though, what do we make of North Ridgeville? They've won some games without Demario McCall. They're 5-1. What do you think?
Well, I think, the big thing to point out is those first 2 wins they had without Demario was, let's be honest, they were non-conference games. The teams they beat are struggling so far this season. But to beat North Olmsted, a team we had ranked 18th last week, I think it says something. Although I'd like to point out, North Ridgeville did have a 17-6 lead with Demario in the lineup. Suffered a shoulder injury. He says he thinks it was a bruise. They kept him out for precautionary reasons. But the fact that they were able to maintain that lead without him says something about these guys.
Well, I want to point out, as far as North Ridgeville goes, when I saw them against Olmsted Falls, it was Demario McCall, make no mistake about it, but it was North Ridgeville's defense up front that really sort of gave them that win, propelled them forward into beating Berea Mid Park. I really think that you don't want to overlook defensively what North Ridgeville is able to do.
Yeah, they've got a couple guys. Nate Asp in the secondary and Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery made a couple big plays. First, he had an interception that prevented one North Olmsted touchdown. Later in the game, he chased down Ryan Coleman, something that Demario wasn't able to do earlier in the game on a 4th down play. Caught him right at the 1-yard line. If those are 2 touchdowns right there, I'm probably talking about a different ball game.
I think Olmsted Falls was a team last year that didn't make the playoffs, obviously. I think they had a losing record they ended up with, but they played a lot of teams really tough. And it seems, then they open up with, I think it was 3 overtimes against Parma. Kind of not sure what to make of them. They get this signature win against Berea Mid Park. And in terms of Berea Mid Park now, what do we make of them? They've lost big, well, not big, but they lost a crazy game to Midview, where Midview loses their quarterback. Berea Mid Park is a team I think a lot of people were expecting a lot of things of. Now they come off this loss. Are they the team that we thought they were?
As far as defensively, I don't understand how they couldn't attack a Midview team that was minus Dustin Crum and be successful. I did not read up or see anything about this past week's loss, but as far you've got Joey Batchy at linebacker, why he isn't getting to the quarterback on every play is something I don't understand, and one of the reasons why this week was so topsy-turvy.
Yeah. I think nobody was more surprised than North Ridgeville. I was there in the second half, and when they started announcing that score, you could hear the crowd go, "Ooh," because they beat Olmsted Falls, but they lost to Berea Mid Park. So we're not the only ones that are shocked about
There were
that.
a lot of reactions like that across Northeast Ohio on Friday night. Another situation is similar is in the Great Lakes Conference. You got Euclid, Menor, and Solon. Solon, of course, had the win of the week, I guess, beating Menor. But they lost to Euclid. Euclid had a halftime lead on Menor. I saw Euclid this past week, and I was really impressed. Nice big quarterback. You got David Wright at wide receiver, who I think is a matchup problem for most defensive backs in the area. Keon Williams is like a one-man highlight show. One of the better slot receivers I've seen. Is Euclid the team that everybody's going to be scared of in that conference?
If I were a team in the Greater Cleveland Conference, I would be scared of Chris Collins, their tailback. I called him, when we were talking before, I called him the Marshawn Lynch of the GCC. This kid is a load to bring down. He's quick. He's real tough. And don't take away the Rotsky factor. Jeff Rotsky has renewed that program as the new head coach, and
their motto is "Return to Glory," and it seems to be working so far.
Whatever they're drinking, they got to keep drinking the Kool-Aid over there. That's Rotsky has them going in the right direction.
So there's some debate over who the number 2 team is. I don't think number 1 is up for debate. Everybody seems to be putting St. Edward at the top of their ballots. But number 2, You got Midview and Benedictine, I think, are kind of the front runners there. And I don't know how it's going to shake out this week in the poll, but it seems to be a little bit split from what I can take. Who do you think the number 2 team is in the area?
You know, I kind of lean towards Benedictine, and the reason why is, you know, they've gone outside the area to win some big games. They also, of course, have a state championship. I mean, granted, you know, we shouldn't factor in what happened last season, but I feel like Midview and Benedictine are so close. Those things factor into why I'm giving them just a slight nod.
Don't discount what they did last year, because they're doing the same thing as they did last year. They rushed for 4,000 yards last year, and they're continuing to do that this year. Dantes Rash, over 900 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns. He's been fantastic without DeCavalon Reese for Benedictine. The reason I gave Midview my number 2 vote this week was because of their ability to play defense, and even if they've got Logan Bolin in there at quarterback instead of Dustin Crum, he's a playmaker. And, you know, to me, there are still questions about Benedictine at quarterback. Brian Scheffler is a third-year starter, senior, a guy who should be driving that Cadillac offense. And instead, you've got them experimenting with Warren Saba at the Wildcat position there this past week. And, you know, Levi Pokersnick, their number 2 quarterback, is getting significant snaps. Now, I don't know if that's all part of the plan for them or if it's an indictment of Scheffler in any way, but you know, if I were a third-year senior starting quarterback, I'd want to be out there taking every snap, and that's not the case for Brian Scheffler.
I have Midview number 2 as well. I had him there last week. I think any team, if you can lose your quarterback and basically take your best receiver and move him to quarterback and pretty much not miss a beat, I mean, I think that's impressive, and that's what kept them there for me.
Well, I mean, also, they haven't missed a beat, but if you had them play right now, who would you pick, Benedictine or Midview, if they met head-to-head?
I don't know.
That is a good question.
The sad part is that we almost had that possible matchup before the OHSAA kind of readjusted their
Oh, that would have been a great game.
their rankings before the season started. So, but unfortunately, we.
I go with Benedictine in that game.
I would too right now, just because of the Crum factor. Yes, Logan Bolin is playing superb at quarterback, but he can't throw to himself. Yes, he has Dimitri Redwood, but he has one less option that Crum would have.
All right, so that's what we think about the crazy Week 6. We'd certainly like to hear what you have to think. Be sure to leave a comment wherever you found this video, and thanks for watching.